Hey, my name's James Nicholson. Buy-to-let's broken. You shouldn't do buy-to-let. And in this video, I'm going to tell you what you could do as well as an alternative. Now, this channel is all about property investing. We've got new content every single day. In fact, we're one of the only property channels that does that in the UK. So while you're here, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit the bell notification. Also smash that like button, guys. That really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. I want to get more views on the channel. We've just recently hit 5,000 subscribers. We're just about to hit 500,000 people that have watched this channel. So that's our next big milestone. So do smash that like button to help us with that. So buy-to-let's dead. It's in the paper every single day. If you read the news, that's exactly what you will hear. I've heard it. My friends have told me this. However, it can work. And so in this video, I want to give you a breakdown on where buy-to-let doesn't work, but more importantly, where it does work, because that's what you want to know, how you can make some money in 2023 and beyond. So I've just been looking at some numbers on buy-to-lets, and I want to give you a comparison between the north and the south of England and why you should be looking in the right area and what you can do to make that really, really work for you. So let's have a look in Dorking. That's where I am right now. That's where I've got a number of investments here. But Dorking's a really, really hard place to get buy-to-let working. In fact, my last deal in Dorking, which was for my daughter Georgia. If you followed along on the channel, you'll know about that one. It was a flat. Now, we actually had to put more deposit into that property than the property, than the 25% that you would normally expect. And that is because the numbers just don't stack up in the south as good as they have done in the north. So let's have a look at that. So in Dorking, if you were going to buy a property, let's just say you bought a 3-bedroom house. Those are the really great ones for buy-to-let. You could buy a 3-bedroom house. The cheapest one in Dorking at the moment is on for £450,000. The cheapest in Dorking. So deposit you would need for that is £112,000. 500. I need to write my numbers down, guys. I am terrible at maths. So if you wonder why I'm looking at this, that's why. So the deposit is £112,000, right? So let's have a look at that. So that means you need a mortgage on a buy-to-let for £337,000 and 500. Great. And on Money Supermarket at the moment, you can get a mortgage on that, which is around just below 4%, which would give you a monthly payment of £1,108. I'm going to change pen. That one doesn't seem to have much ink left in it. And so rent-wise, you could expect a rental income of around £2,200 on that one. Now, percentage return that gives you, yield that people like to know, that gives you 5.5%. Now, where you're going to find problems with this is they're going to feel that the rent isn't high enough compared to the money that you're borrowing. And so you might have to top up this. You might actually have to give a greater deposit than 25%. That can happen in the south, right? So make sure you take that into account. Now, that is a risky deal at the moment. If you're already making 5% gross, after that, you've got to have all your taxes, insurance, maintenance, all of these issues that could crop up. You've got to take all of that out from that property deal. You're on the risk of having a pretty difficult time in that. Now, if you bought this in your personal name, you would be paying tax on this gross amount here, and the tax could be as much as 50%. You're really going to struggle to get that deal working. So where could it work? Let's have a look. Now, if we went to the north, I'm going to use Doncaster because I only invest in Doncaster. You can invest in any town up north, but you need to look because some towns, some of the mining towns up there, house prices haven't changed in value. They can be really hard and a bit rough. But I know that people that do well in Leeds, Doncaster, Sheffield, those sorts of areas do quite well. So let's have a look. Now, in Doncaster, very easily, this is not uncommon. There are tons available. 3-bedroom houses for £70,000. Brilliant. So if you get into that deal, you need a deposit of 17,500. And your mortgage on that, your monthly mortgage would only be £173. Now, these are the kind of deals that I like to get into, because often people say, what happens if my tenant doesn't pay the mortgage? Well, look, if you're in a job and your tenant in a southern property doesn't pay the mortgage, you've got to pay £1,100 every single month. There's a bit more risk there. But if you take this property here, if it's empty totally, you've got to be responsible for £173 a month. And you could fix that for 5 years to give you certainty, right? That is affordable, right? That gives you that confidence there. Now, how much could you rent this property for? You could rent it for £550, right? £550. And that would give you a gross yield of 9.2%. So look, buy to let is dead. The headlines are going to say that. You're going to read the Sunday Times, you're going to read the Financial Times, you're going to see all of this stuff in Yahoo Business News and Bloomberg saying buy to let is dead. And they're right. Buy to let in the south of England or in London is really, really tough at the moment until the rates come down or prices come down to match like those rates, because that's another thing that could fix that. House prices coming down. If you got into that property in the south at 20% less, then these numbers suddenly might work. But they're struggling. They're really, really hard to do in the south. Now, what could you do in the south that could make this better? Now, it doesn't mean property investing doesn't work in the south. 100% it does. But you need to look for high cash flow strategies like HMOs and serviced accommodation. So that means that you take this property here, the 3-bedroom house, find a 3-bedroom house with 2 reception rooms, rent it out on a room-by-room basis, giving you 5 lettable rooms. You could then potentially get that rent up to $4,000. That suddenly works really, really well. Or you could rent it out on a nightly basis. That could work very well as well, right? Or what you could also do is do that same thing in the north. HMOs are very popular up the north. Even serviced accommodation. There's a video on this channel where I show you around a serviced accommodation, a 3-bedroom house that I rented out. It was around £100 a night in Doncaster. Have a look at that video on the channel and look how they were doing that. It was a couple. They've got 5 to 10 serviced accommodation properties, and they're making great money. They've got quite a lot of not a lot of occupancy. They've got tons of these properties rented out. They're making £100 a night. If you rent that out every night in Doncaster, that's £3,000 instead of £500 as rent. So what's the point of this video? The point of the video is to say if you run a vanilla buy-to-let in the south, you're really running the risk there of not having something that works in the future, if not very, very soon, right? So that's a bit risky. So my advice, if you invest in the south, is to look at high cash flow strategies like HMOs, like serviced accommodation. In the north, you could just do a vanilla buy-to-let. If you just want an easy hands-off investment, it still works up north for sure. You can get 9% return on your money. However, if you want to get even more, you could run it as serviced accommodation or an HMO up north as well. So the point is you need to get the right strategy in the right area, get all of that knowledge to do that. And we want to help you do that in the Property Accelerator. So below, I'm going to put a link so you can join us in the Property Accelerator. It's £1. That's not £1 to come along to a sales training day where I'm going to pitch you a course for thousands of pounds. It's £1 to get all of the training and take it as a trial. And if you want to stick with us, it's just £99 a month thereafter. Cancel anytime, no contracts, no commitments. It's at least worth a look and worth you having a look. So I'll put a link in the description below. Go and check that out now. Go and check out all the other content on my channel, including this video right here. And give me a like on the video if you didn't do that earlier. Go and do that here.